Hello, Namaste, Vanakkam. Myself Tulsiram and I welcome you all to our YouTube channel Kick Out GST Phobia. In this video, I am going to share a glimpse of the CA Student National Conference held by the Salem branch of SICASA, wherein I have participated and submitted my paper GST on e-commerce business. If you want to know the GST implications on e-commerce businesses, you are in the right place. Without wasting much time, let's get started. Before that, watch the video completely. I suggest you to watch at 1.5x speed. So before getting started, I would like to thank the branch of Salem for giving me an opportunity to present my paper in front of the Learn panel. So I'm sharing my screen. Screen visible, right?
Yes, Tulasiram, it's visible.
Yeah. So respected Learn panel, my dear friends and colleagues, good evening to each and everyone out here. So myself, Tulsiram, at the outset, I am going to discuss one of the most important and interesting issue that we can discuss, and we can spend hours together talking about this matter. The thing that I'm intending to speak in front of you is the e-commerce businesses. So in this presentation, I will be majorly focusing on the GST implications. What are all the possible GST implications that an e-commerce business have, emphasizing more on the e-commerce operator. So this topic is very much important for us because directly or indirectly, our lives are connected to these e-commerce businesses. And on a day-to-day basis, we deal with the e-commerce operators. And also it is very much important as a party of the transaction and also as a professional in the chartered accountancy, that what will be the GST implication, because GST has become part of our life. So we need to accept that and we need to understand the different possibilities and implications that we will be facing if something goes wrong. So all of your commerce graduates, what is commerce? Commerce is an activity of buying and selling. Either it can be goods or services. If the same activity of buying and selling is done or conducted over the internet platform or electronic media, then it is said to be the e-commerce. It is as simple as that. Then the person who is operating this e-commerce platform is called as the e-commerce operator. So even the terminology e-commerce business and e-commerce operator is defined in GST law under section 2 clause 44 and 2 clause 45 of CGST Act. So which has the same meaning that we understand in the common parlance. So with this little introduction about the terms that will be using on the way forward, let's get started. If a person wants to start e-commerce business in India, then he needs to comply the provisions of so many statutes: Income Tax Act, Consumer Protection Act, Companies Act, FEMA Act, and obviously the Goods and Services Tax Act. The world is temporarily closed. I did not question you because you know the answer. It's because of COVID. Corona is everywhere, because of which the entire world, not even your world, even our doors, we are closing and we are living inside our homes. Because of this, the lives of human beings, not only human beings, the businesses and even the nations, they are going into this depression. So sad to know about this fact. On the other hand, if you go out of your home, police are ready to take charge on you. So be careful. And the social media is making these terms, stay home, stay safe, quite popular. And because of which you are not stepping out of your home. So then how you are able to purchase all your necessities? It is because of your smartphone, correct? So which has the e-commerce. So there's a linkage between your smartphone and e-commerce business also. And the national-wise imposed lockdowns. So because of all these parameters, if you look at other businesses, I am more specifically talking about the businesses other than e-commerce business. They are worried, just like this old man. They're not able to do their business. Even if they want to do, the global factors is not letting them to do, and even the government restrictions is not letting them to do. Indeed, they are waiting and looking for helping hands. But if you look at the other side of the page, e-commerce businesses are making billions of profits, billions of profits. You would be wondering, when almost the lives of each and every human being, including the businesses and even the nations, has come into stagnation, what on the earth is helping the e-commerce businesses to make millions of profits? It's because of their business model. Yes, you heard it right. It is because of their business model they are able to make billions of profits. So it is very much important for us to understand, like, what are all the business models used by the e-commerce businesses to do business, not only in India, throughout the world. Prima facie, there are two types of business models. One is inventory based business model. The second one is marketplace based business model. The sounds might term technical, but if you break down these things, you will understand in a better way. So I will help you in that. So let's talk about the inventory based business model in a detailed way. In case of inventory based business model, there will be only two parties. One is the e-commerce operator, and the second party will be obviously the customers. So here what happens means, the e-commerce operator will procure the goods, or he will manufacture the goods, and he will sell that to the end customers directly using the internet. So this is one type of way of doing business using the internet. So the best example could be, any guess? It's obviously Lenskart. So Lenskart perfectly fits into this inventory based business model of e-commerce. So in this presentation, I will be helping you out what will be the business model of Lenskart and what all the possible GST implications. So stay tuned for that. So on the other hand, we have marketplace based business model. So in this model, there will be three parties. So you are all the customers, I am the e-commerce operator, and there will be someone who will be at my backend, my actual vendor. So what I am doing is, I am not purchasing and I am not selling it to you. The person who is behind me, the actual vendor, he will directly sell the goods or render services to you. But what I am doing is, I am just facilitating the trade. I'm just acting like a mediator. So I think you people can give a better example. So one can say Amazon is having the marketplace based e-commerce business model. Apart from that, Zomato is also having the same business model, where you will use the same to order the tasty food items. So not only that, this marketplace model, it has various like several ways of doing business within that only. It can be B2B, B2C, C2C. So like this, B2G, like business to government, government to business, government to citizen, and consumer to business. So if you go to the practical world and look at the e-commerce businesses, you will be literally confused, because all the e-commerce business, they're having blend of all these models. So which makes the things complicated. But in this presentation, let's try to break that complex things into easy ways of understanding the things. Since we are discussing only in the angle of GST, so I am going to present you the levy and collection of tax on the e-commerce operator, the registration requirements of e-commerce operator, and also the business, the invoicing provisions, the input tax credit, which was very well explained by Ramya, returns, tax collection at sources, and the e-way bill, which even this was explained by one of our friend, Padmaja. So for the purpose of simplicity, so I will be taking this session forward by dividing the entire presentation into three limbs. One will be the impact of GST on the inventory based model. So that I will be helping you on the using the case study of Lenskart. The second limb will be the marketplace model, which provides only specified services using the case study of Urban Company. I know that you will be wondering what exactly is specified services, but stay tuned. You'll be able to understand in a detailed way in the upcoming slides. Finally, we'll be discussing about the impact of GST on an e-commerce operator who deal with goods and other than specified services. So this is more like an Amazon, but we'll be understanding using the case study of Udan, so which is as good as Amazon, but it has a different way of doing business. So I request all the participants and even the people who are streaming this video in YouTube to put their views in the chat box so that we can make this more interactive. Lenskart has two business models. One is franchisee, second one is e-commerce. See, when you're walking in the streets of Salem, you will be finding the showrooms, correct? So you will be finding the showroom of Lenskart also. So at the same time, when you're reading articles in relation to GST, income tax, in Tax Guru, you will be finding ads beside that. So you will, if you click on that ad, which is from Lenskart, it will take you to the Lenskart website. So what I'm trying to emphasize is either you can, you as a customer, either you can purchase from the local shop that is there in Salem, or you can purchase the same thing in website also. Since our topic is e-commerce, let's try to understand the GST implications when you purchase the spectacles in the website. So usually Lenskart manufacture their own lenses or frames or contact lenses, or they will procure and they will store in their warehouse. So I mean to say the ownership of the goods which is sold by Lenskart is with the Lenskart only. So this is the major difference that you will be observing in the upcoming slides. So Lenskart is selling their own products in their own platform. Registration requirements. Suppose the turnover of Lenskart is less than 40 lakhs. Since they are selling goods, take the applicable threshold limit will be 40 lakhs. So if their turnover is less than 40 lakhs, whether are they required to take registration? So whether your answer will change if their turnover is more than 40 lakhs. The answer would be yes, because the registration requirements for Lenskart depends on the turnover that they're making. If they're making turnover less than 40 lakhs, they're not supposed to take GST registration. However, if they're making turnover more than 40 lakhs, then they're mandatorily required to take GST registration by way of section 22. Next is levy and collection. See, for the time being, you are all the customers. I am the Lenskart. The first question I'm asking you, you will pay the GST directly to the government, or you will pay it to me and I will remit that to the government? The answer would be you will pay to Lenskart, then Lenskart will pay that to the government. Correct. So this is what we call as the forward charge mechanism, technically speaking. So in terms of section 9(1), the levy is on the supplier like Lenskart to collect the taxes from the customers and remit to the government. Next comes returns. Okay, Lenskart is liable to take registration. So whether all the complaints are over? No, the complaint starts when you take the registration. Lenskart is supposed to file GSTR 1-3B on a monthly basis and 9(9)C on yearly basis, provided they satisfy the other provisions. If it is necessary, they will file the 9(C), or it is not relevant. But Lenskart is such a big business, they are mandatorily required to file 9(9)C 1-3B. Next, invoicing. You have the answer. Lenskart will issue invoice to the end customer. There is no doubt. But when Lenskart is supposed to raise the tax invoice, when you order the products in the website, or when you make the payment to the Lenskart, or when Lenskart dispatches the goods to you, or when you take delivery on your home. So it is very much important for us to understand when is Lenskart liable to issue the tax invoice. Section 31 governs the difficulties faced in this regard. It tells Lenskart is liable to issue tax invoice on or before removal of goods. So that's what, when you make the payment, they're issuing invoice at that time only. So they are issuing invoice even before removal of goods, or they can issue when they are dispatching the goods. So there are two possibilities. Lenskart has adopted a business model where they will raise the tax invoice as and when they receive the payment from the end customer. Next, TCS. So there is a concept of TCS in income tax and GST also, but if you want to understand TCS in GST, then don't bring the income tax provisions here. So TCS is a concept where there will be three parties, but here there are only two parties in the transaction. So the concept of TCS will not come into picture. So discussion on TCS will be irrelevant. An input tax credit, yes, Lenskart can take the credit provided if they're doing all the taxable supplies. So then there is no restriction from availing the credit subject to the provisions specified under section 17. So with this, we understood the business model of Lenskart and the possible GST implications that Lenskart is having. So let's try to understand the next limb of our presentation, the marketplace business model. So this I will be helping you through the case study of Udaan. See, Udaan is similar to Amazon. Amazon sells to unregistered consumers in a larger quantity, but Udaan sells only to the registered business consumers. So that's the only difference between Amazon and Udaan. But if you go practically, there will be so many differences. But let's try to make things simple. Unlike in inventory-based model, so there are two parties in that inventory-based model, but in this model, there will be three parties. So I am introducing three persons here. One is Hindustan Unilever Limited, second one is Udaan, and third one is like registered business consumers like you, for suppose. So as I mentioned, there will be three parties. So now let's try to understand the various GST implications. Registration. So there are three persons. So we understood that the consumer is also registered. Then we ignore that the fact. Now whether HUL is required to take GST registration if its turnover is less than 40 lakhs? The answer could be yes, because in terms of section 24, if they are making supplies of goods through an e-commerce operator, then they are mandatorily required to take GST registration. Clear. Next, Udaan. They are supplying services. Are they supposed to take GST registration if the turnover is less than 20 lakhs? The answer would be yes. In terms of section 24 clause 10, every electronic commerce operator who is liable to collect the TCS is mandatorily required to take the GST registration. So that is what we have understood. But a relaxation is given if any person is supplying services through an e-commerce operator and his turnover is less than the aggregate turnover, like threshold limit, then they are not required to take any GST registration. This relaxation or exemption is only given to services but not for goods. So levy and collection. Who is liable to collect the tax? Who is liable to issue the tax invoice? Who will pay tax to the government? So this will be confusing, correct? So let's try to break the transaction into two things. So one is Hindustan Unilever Limited. They are into manufacturing of products. So what they will do is they will list all their products in Udaan website. So consumers like you, so they will come to Udaan website and they will place order. So as and when you place the order, Hindustan Unilever Limited will directly send the goods to the end customer and also issue the tax invoice to the end customer. So you understood that it is not Udaan who is selling you the goods, but it is Hindustan Unilever Limited is selling you the goods. But you will be having doubt. I am making payment to Udaan. Then how is this thing happening? So that's where the concept of TCS comes into picture. When you make payment to Udaan, so Udaan is supposed to collect the TCS. So they will collect TCS and remit to the government while by filing GSTR 8. And they will deduct their commission for the services which they are rendering it to Hindustan Unilever Limited, and they will raise tax invoice for the service that they are rendering to HUL. And HUL, on receipt of payments, they will dispatch the goods to the end customer and they will issue invoice to the end customer. So I hope the provisions relating to levy and collection is very clear. And returns, as I told, 13B9MC is quite common, but for a TCS collection and payment to government, ECO is mandatorily required to take GST registration for TCS, and he is supposed to file GSTR 8. So as and when the ECO files the GSTR 8, the same thing will the customer HUL need to file GST at 7A to claim that TCS component to get added to his electronic cash ledger. Invoicing we have discussed in a detailed way. Tax collection at source also. So by way of section 52, UDAN is supposed to collect TCS at the rate of 1%. Input tax credit, yes, HUL can take credit, UDAN can take credit, even the consumers can take credit, provided they satisfy all the conditions which are in relation to the ITC, section 16, 17, like this. So next, the much awaited and suspense thing has come to discuss specified services. See, by way of section 9, subsection 5 of CGST Act, so government specified some services, so which they are giving some relaxation to the suppliers who are making their supplies through an e-commerce operator. They are telling the actual suppliers need not pay any taxes, need not follow any GST compliances, but the person whose help is taken to provide the services or sell the goods, he is supposed to do all the compliances for the purpose of GST. So I mean to say the ECO is liable for issuing tax invoices for payment of taxes. So what are the specified services? The first thing is transportation of passengers. So this, the better example will be Ola and Uber. Next, services by way of providing accommodation. So this is applicable only when the supplier of such accommodation services is not registered under GST. If he is registered, then even though it is specified services, the ECO is not supposed to collect any TCS at all. Next thing is, so the best example for that is Oyo Hotels. Finally, the services by way of housekeeping. So the best example for this is Urban Company. So let's try to understand the GST implications on this particular model using the case study of Urban Company. See, so there is one pipe which got damaged in your home. What you will do, you will go to Urban Company website, then you will call to one plumber. Plumber will come to your home, he will do the repair and he will go. You will make payment to Urban Company, correct? Now, the question that I am trying to ask you is, who is paying, like you are paying GST. Now then, like from whom is that GST is reaching to the government? Whether that GST which you have paid is paid by the vendor to the government or the Urban Company. So it is the Urban Company who is collecting taxes from customers like you and it is remitting that to the government. And the actual vendors are not supposed to do any compliances. Only Urban Company is required to do all the compliances only for the purpose of payment of taxes. So in practical world, if you see Urban Company, it has blend of services. Like it has lawyers also in their website. So which you can call and you can take their services. So let's try to keep the things simple. So let's assume that Urban Company is only providing plumber services, housekeeping services. Then what will be the GST implications? Urban Company is required to take GST registration mandatorily. Yes. Whether the vendors who are associated or affiliated with the Urban Company, are they required to take GST registration? No. It is because of section 24, clause 4. Next, levy and collection. Who is supposed to collect and pay? It is obviously the Urban Company who is liable to collect and pay to the government. Returns. Just like any other regular taxpayer, even Urban Company is supposed to file 13B99C with an assumption that they're not supposed to collect TCS. But in practical world, they are making services which are other than specified. So they have got TCS registration and they're filing all other returns like GSTR 8. Invoicing. Urban Company will issue the tax invoice to the end customer. TCS not applicable for provided if the ECO is providing the services which are specified under 9.5. So input tax credit, yes. On the expenditure incurred by Urban Company, they can take the credit. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Hope you people got a lot of insights on this particular topic and subject matter. So finally, once again, so myself Tulsiram, and I thank Salem branch of SICASA for giving me an opportunity to present this paper in front of the learned panel and audience at large. Thank you. Thank you once again.